Hello everyone, now you will hear a full recap of the movie Angel, dedicated to the most famous serial killer in the history of Argentina. Enjoy watching. Buenos 1971 17-year-old Carlos was walking down the street and suddenly wanted to rob a mansion that he came across. The guy broke into the house, poured himself a drink, and rummaged through the drawers in search of jewelry, but he does not recognize the right to private property. Carlos took off on a motorcycle that was parked in the garage. The schoolboy lied to his mother that a classmate lent him the motorcycle. Do people always lend you things? Of course, I'm a nice guy. The father came home from work and asked the boy never to lend anything again. He should only use things that belong to him. The criminal gave his girlfriend Marisol a stolen gold pendant. Thank you, how sweet. Mom wore it as a child. Carlos rarely goes to the new school. He smokes and does drugs in class. He almost burned the back of his classmate Raymond's head, for which he deservedly got punched in the face. They were both brought to the principal. If you stain my pants, I'll make you take them off. Do you like getting black eyes? But you hit like a woman. Apparently this guy is really sick since he's trying to get Ramon. In fact, Carlos wants to be friends with him. So, he gave the guy a stolen record. And you're blonde, you look like my ex. Ramon is also an experienced thief. He decided to introduce Carlos to his gangster family. Jose eats potatoes and cleans his gun at the same time. Carlito stared at the egg that fell out of his dad's pants. Jace offered his guest to shoot a pistol right in the house. Carlos admitted that he is a natural thief. True, everything is stolen. He usually just gives it to people to please them. Can I shoot some more? No. The fouls cost money, maybe we should rob a gun shop. No sooner said than done. At night, Carlos climbed into the gun shop through the roof, after which he collected all the rifles and pistols. Ramon loaded the huge arsenal into the car. Curly returned to shake down all the bullets. Anna Maria was pleased seeing today's jackpot. Nevertheless, Jace read the newcomer. According to the plan, Carlos was supposed to just go on reconnaissance and not carry a bunch of guns on himself. The kid, of course, is a criminal genius but too unpredictable. Don't worry, he will listen. What kind of gang do we have? One morning, Ramon gave his accomplice a fake passport just in case, and a wad of money, his share of the sale of weapons. The criminals received information about a mansion with a bunch of expensive paintings. A lonely old man lives there who never leaves the house. Therefore, they will have to rob him inside. Carlos, scared, wounded the man. He said nothing and went up to the second floor, where he stared at the painting. Then the old man took a towel, turned on the water, and sat down to die on the toilet. The young criminal hung the stolen painting above his bed, and he slept hugging a revolver. This is not a toy. Do you think I would point a real revolver at my mother? The bandits brought their girlfriends to another mansion. Marisol's twin sister started dating Roman. The company decided that this was a great place to shoot. The maid came running at the noise. Do you need something here? How can I help you? What will you drink? Beer, and you and us too. I'll leave it next to the canopy. I seen a like that during the last case. The guys knocked down the old man and also hung his paintings all over the house. The bandits started taking them all down in the middle of the night. Roman's mother had her eye on the curly-haired guy. His girlfriend is probably so inexperienced. At that age, I couldn't do what I can do now, maybe. Do you want to try like your husband? Carlos broke into the jewelry store by knocking down the wall. The first thing he did was try on the earrings. Maybe that way Ramon and his father would like him. Carlos always liked to complicate things. So when he found a safe in the office, the guy wanted to break into it. However, Ramon refused. Out of anger, the curly-haired guy shot at the ceiling. The friends checked into a hotel. Carlos gave a drunk homeless man a stolen brooch, but Ramon didn't appreciate this generous gesture. He asked his accomplice not to show off the loot. At a nightclub, Ramon pointed out Federico, a gay collector. He would help them unload the paintings if he was allowed to touch his pod. The bartender demanded that they not do their gay business there. Ramon got furious and smashed a bottle on his head. The rich kid invited his partners to come to his house with the goods. Wait. Did you steal them now? I don't want to deal with stolen goods. Federico initially backed out, but when he realized that these two weren't going to back down, he decided to take his own and lead Ramon into the bedroom. No, of course. Ramon wasn't gay, it was all just for the cause. Carlos looked into the bedroom and envied the rich kid. But that way they managed to get rid of the paintings. In the morning, the criminals returned to the nightclub. The establishment was already closed, and the bartender and the waiter were sleeping in the hill. Without thinking much, Carlos took out two pistols and shot them both at the same time. Did these two beat you up? I don't know, maybe Ramon was stunned by this situation and hurried to leave the club. The rich kid started promoting Roman on television. He was currently on TV. The guy didn't care what he did. The main thing was to become famous and quit robbing. After the performance, Roman called his parents. It turns out that his gangster father is ashamed of his son, so the guy needs to think carefully about what he is going to do for a living. Carlos's mother met a gangster family because her son supposedly works in their store. The boy has not been home for several months. The woman thinks that Ramon is a bad influence on him. Our children should not communicate with each other. The accomplices have just stolen a car. As luck would have it, they came across a police checkpoint. Carlos showed his fake passport, but Ramon forgot his documents at home. They were both ordered to get out of the car. Carlos managed to discreetly throw the pistols in the grass. The guys were searched and taken to the police station. And I want to become a policeman. Who gave you their word? Roman had to give his real name. Suddenly Carlos asked to be alone with the boss. First the young man showed a wad of money, and then offered to go get Raymond's documents. He would leave his at the station. And one more thing, bring me more. I'll bring everything I have. Carlos went home and dragged a whole bag of money to the station, everything he had. However, at the last moment, he stopped, thought for a moment, and drove away. Carla dumped his friend and went back home. Mom had just cooked his favorite dish. Carlita came back. He sits there as if nothing had happened. And nothing had happened. His parents no longer believe that anything good will come of him. Sorry, Mom. It's okay, no one died. Mom suggested that the family take a vacation somewhere. Too bad they don't have much money. Then Carlos threw a bag with packs of pesos on the table. The honest father threatens to personally take the stolen money to the police if his son doesn't do it himself. The man couldn't sleep. He buried the loot in the yard. That same night, Carlos found his guns and began to follow Ramon. He had a new accomplice whom he met in prison. Carlos did not want to stay on the sidelines. Oh, look who showed up. Miguel is my ex-wife. Carlos makes excuses by saying that they allegedly wanted to set a trap for him at the police station. Miguel is also a thief. Now, he works with his family and constantly hangs out with his friends. Miguel remembered that they were bailed out of prison by the rich man, Federico, Raymond's patron, and began to make homophobic jokes. They look like two lovebirds. It seems the old man wants to take him to Paris. The trio went on another job. They blocked the road to a truck and took a gun from the driver. Roman found a bag of money and went back to the car. However, the driver pulled another gun from under his ass. Carlos backed up his accomplices and riddled the man with holes. The criminals returned home with the loot. Ana Maria had already set her sights on the newest member of the gang. She sent Carlos to burn the car so she could be alone with Miguel. The guy crashed into a tree, doused the car with gasoline, and blew it up. The killer felt sad because soon he would lose his beloved friend Pi. Then let no one get him once the young men drove away drunk. Roman in his car and abruptly turned into the oncoming lane. In the morning, the police came to the Peralta family's house and told Ana Maria that her son had died in a car accident. Carlos only had a broken arm. Miguel was left without an accomplice, and he was hungry. So, he hoped that Carlo would become his partner. The boy wanted to go back to that jewelry store and still open the safe inside. A harmless fat security guard was dozing. As soon as the man woke up, Carlo immediately shot him in the face and then took the safe. After some time he made a hole in the back wall, but discovered that there was nothing inside. While he was fiddling, Miguel dozed off. When he woke up, the man suspected that the accomplice was lying to him. Allegedly, the safe was not empty to begin with. Miguel moved towards Carlos. As always, he immediately started shooting. The guy hid behind an iron box, but Carlos quickly found him and blew out his brains. Well, and then played with his face with a blowtorch. In the morning, the guy went out for cigarettes at the kiosk. He noticed that the police were talking to his mother. Carlos was not at all embarrassed and went to meet them. He was taken to the station on suspicion of arson, robbery, and double murder. You already have a friend's face with a blowtorch. Try it, which will burn your balls with an electric shock. There was no point in twitching anymore. So the bandit nicknamed Angel confessed to 11 murders and 2 robberies. The press also called him the Angel of Death and a jackal with a woman's face. Carlos's skull was measured, and psychologists began to try to analyze his actions. The parents were found guilty first, saying they didn't keep an eye on him long enough. His mother wanted to play the piano, but she couldn't because her son was using the instrument as a hiding place for a mountain of cash and a dozen guns. The lawyer advised Carlos to pretend to be crazy. Pretend to be a nutcase. Do you think a normal person is capable of such a thing? The kid thinks he's completely normal. In the meantime, he stuck a spoon inside himself, which can now only be removed surgically. Carlos was left alone in the operating room for literally a minute. And that was enough time for him to escape through the window. The cops were scurrying around below, but none of them looked up. Carlo jumped out of a tree and left the prison grounds. To the sound of a siren, they opened fire on the fugitive. But he still managed to escape. The criminal took a train to Ronnie's old house and stayed there for the night. In the morning, Carlos called his mother to say that he was okay. Surrender to the authorities. Come home. Who are you with? With Dad. We're fine. The boy told his mother where he was hiding and asked her to come over. Kudryavtseva turned on the radio and started dancing while the house was surrounded by dozens of soldiers and police. Rabilev Pucho was arrested when he was barely 20 years old. For 11 murders and a long list of other crimes, the boy was sentenced to life imprisonment. Pucha has now spent 53 years in prison, making him the longest-serving criminal ever convicted in Argentina. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe.